Well, hey folks, I'm just heading back down in the woods here. I'm going to check those trail cameras I put out a few weeks ago when I was making that video up there on the Foggy Mountain. I haven't been back down in the valley since, although I did set up a trail camera on a beaver lodge and I was hoping to get some footage, but all I've gotten from that so far is disappointment. No beaver activity. So I set up another camera yesterday at the beaver dam, and hopefully I get him being a busy little beaver. But this morning I'm going to go out and check this, and I'm bringing you along because I want to share my thoughts with you all. Remember a while back in one of my videos I had posted where I have my dreams pay for themselves. I've said a lot of things like that, where I leapfrog from dream to dream. One will finance the other. I talked about rolling my snowball in the right direction, which is rolling it in the sticky snow. Many times you've heard me say that I make everything I love a business. And you've also heard me say that if you get me on the subject of life and finances, it's pretty hard to shut me up. I'm very passionate about that. So this video is about that stuff. It's all of those subjects, which is all one subject. It's about how I fulfill my dreams, how I make them pay for themselves, how I turn everything I love into a business, and how it all works for me. And I'll try and do it without rambling too much. I'm also going to try and do it without getting rained out. We got rain coming. It's kind of misting right now. I got held up a little bit in the house with some other things I had to take care of this morning. So off I go, and when I find a nice spot to sit, I will set up the tripod and share my thoughts. And like I said, hopefully do it without rambling. All right. How do I make my dreams pay for themselves? How do I leapfrog from one to another? I kind of learned this by accident way back around the mid-'80s when I was 25 or 26 living in my first cabin. I started doing carpentry work for a guy who was just starting out on his own. And he didn't want to pay me as an employee and have to pay the workman's comp and all those fees involved with having employees. So he wanted to pay me as a subcontractor, which sounded really good to me because he wasn't taking any taxes out. All my life I had those wages, the money coming out of my check week after week after week. The IRS is entitled to a piece of your pie, regardless. They are entitled to a portion of your income. Okay? So, at that time, I was working for him. He's paying me straight wages. There was a lot of things that I really wanted. I wanted a generator. I wanted some better carpentry tools, step ladders, aluminum ladders, this, that, and the other thing. Because at the time, really all I had was my tool pouch, a skill saw, and a few hand tools, and that's it. So, I tried to save money and just get a little bit of a nest egg set aside. There was a lot of things I wanted, but I wasn't buying them. I was trying to save some money. This was the first time in my life that I was ever working with, they weren't taking taxes out. I thought I had a good thing going on. Then at tax time, I hired someone to do my tax preparation there. And they told me that I owed a bunch of money, and I don't remember how much. My jaw dropped. And they told me, well, you didn't spend enough money on your business. I had mileage and a few things like that, but that was it. Because I didn't buy the things that I wanted, the money that I saved went to the IRS because I was too high in the black. I had too much taxable income, so it got taxed and taken away. That was the last time I did that. So the following year I bought a Honda generator, I bought ladders, I bought tools, I bought stuff that I can use as business, but it's all stuff that I wanted. I did carpentry for the year. At tax time, I don't think I paid anything. I didn't do anything shady. All the stuff that I bought was stuff that I wanted, but they were bought under the business. They were business expenses. So the taxable income that used to go to the IRS fell into a hole that I dug by buying my stuff, self-stuff, tools and generators. So there was nothing left, or very little left, to go to the IRS. I learned a very, very valuable lesson about business. That was business. That is business, okay? So from there on, throughout the rest of my life, I followed that principle. So let's fast forward several years to when I went to New York. Now, I spent my life dreaming about owning 100 acres of land. I dreamed about having my own beaver pond. I used to read that book, Back to Basics, that I showed you before. And it's full of great information about homesteading, about being self-sufficient. Everything in that book, from solar power, wind power, to gutting a pig and butchering a hog, and all this great stuff that isn't outdated. So I dreamed about having a little farmstead. I dreamed about having 100 acres of land. I dreamed about having my own hunting land. I always wanted to have a piece of equipment like a tractor, a front-end loader, or the backhoe. All my life, looking through the hunting magazines, there's that ad for Wood-Mizer sawmill. My God, I always dreamed about having a sawmill. All right? So you take all those dreams, okay? And if you take every one of those and just look at the price of the dream, the price tag of that dream is going to be overwhelming, and most people just shy away from it. So let's take the frivolous aspect about dream fulfillment right out of the equation. Let's look at this as an investment in a business sense, okay? All right, so I went to New York because trying to fulfill this dream in New Hampshire was out of the question. It was out of my financial reach without going into debt, and going into debt was a showstopper. So I go 300 miles out of my comfort zone to fulfill the dream. I started buying up land, and at one point I had 116 acres. I had my own beaver pond. We were growing vegetables like crazy. Started going to the farmers markets. I built a chicken coop. Now I had this little farm going on. Was selling eggs, was selling vegetables. I'm selling cordwood. Small scale, but I'm selling cordwood. I had my sawmill, and I was selling some lumber. Again, small scale, but I was selling lumber. The cordwood, the lumber, I sold cedar fence posts. The cedar fence posts all came from my land, okay? My hunting land. So my land is roped into the business. It's my land that I purchased, and now I'm selling little bits off of the land. I have a full-fledged farm. Because I am a farm, I am farm tax exempt on a lot of items that I purchase. Now, I've been telling people for many years to make everything you love a business, especially if you work a regular job. For example, a while back, a friend of mine had a very strong interest in photography, bought himself a new Nikon, spent a bunch of money on it, different lenses and whatnot, got a new laptop at the same time. It was quite an investment there. I was doing this as a hobby. Really loved to take pictures and was pretty good at it. So I told him, well, start a little business out of it. What constitutes a business, right? Selling products or services for money, right? Okay? When I tell people to make everything they love a business, they jump too far ahead and think about using this as a business to make a living. And they don't pursue it because of that. Let's not go that far ahead. You don't have to make a living with your business. Make your hobby something you want to do or you love to do a business, and then it becomes very beneficial to you, especially if you have a regular job. A lot of people have really good jobs, good benefits, paid vacations, health care, all this great stuff, and they want to stay there for another decade or so because they're going to be looking at a really good retirement package. I don't blame them, okay? Lots of money goes out of their paycheck week after week after week because there's no other place for that taxable income to go. Let's make a place for it to go. Let's have it go from one pocket to another. And you can do that and do it legally. None of this is about cheating the IRS. I don't recommend cheating the IRS at all. Do this legit. Make it a legitimate business. Make everything you love a business. Okay? Just like I did, I bought my hunting land, I turned it into a business, it paid for itself. Okay? I love making videos. My videos are a business. Because I have a business and I made a beautiful office here at the camp. That's tax deduction. A portion, I work from home, a portion of all of my living expenses, all of your living expenses will become tax deductions. They will come off of your bottom line at tax time. So all I'm doing here today, folks, is trying to give you something to think about. Just planting a little seed and maybe it'll grow into something. Because what I've found in my life, there's nothing more gratifying than the fulfillment of a dream. And most people don't pursue their dreams, they don't pursue their wants and wishes because of the cost involved. Think about the scenario when I was living in my cabin. I wanted tools, I wanted a generator, I wanted all of these things, but I didn't want to spend the money on them. I tried to save the money. It put me too high in the black, and then that money went off to the IRS. I started spending it on myself, but making those expenditures business expenses. I dug a hole. The money, the taxable income that was getting skimmed off the top fell into the hole, and my taxable income went flatline. Think about it. Give it a try. Go small scale. Make a business out of everything you love, and you will see that it will work for you. And then you're going to start rolling that snowball in the right direction and leapfrogging from one dream to another and another after another. It'll change your life. All right, that's it. It's starting to sprinkle. I'm going to get trucking. I got one more trail cam to check. All right. Have a great day, folks.